Hello, hello. Welcome to my office space in Toronto. My name is Parsa Noruzian. I'm a registered psychotherapist. I do different approaches. I orient towards art therapy quite a bit, even though it's not the only thing that I do. Um, a big part of what I do is helping people access the resources that they already have, but they haven't gotten to connect with it quite a bit. And besides that, I also provide resources related to attention, workflow, interpersonal skills, emotional regulation, and more. There is this cheesy rom-com from the 2000s starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. Its name is The 50 First Dates, I believe. I use it as an example. The story goes, the girl in it, Drew Barrymore, her name is Lucy. She has lost her short-term memory and she's unable to consolidate memories due to an accident. She meets Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler strangely falls in love with her, and the relationship starts every day, day in, day out. Adam really helps her, but her memory issues still persist. But the peak of the movie is where she starts to paint and draw, and she seems to start consolidate her memories through art. And even though she still has to remember things every day freshly off of the bat, the use of art is something that helps her embody her memories and build rather a physical and emotional memory towards things, like what to avoid and what to move towards, what is safe and what is not. Now, that movie really lit up some lights in me and my perspective towards art and art therapy. I don't have one singular definition for art therapy, but one way to put it is this. Use of image, story, narration, movement, sound towards accessing internal experiences, emotions, and memories, and processing them towards our own benefit, whether that's related to interpersonal stuff or related to more concrete and productivity related things. There's a lot of things that we know, we cognitively grasp. However, it's also important to have a full experience with it, including your mind, body, emotions all together. And this is where exactly art and art therapy come in handy, or any experiential therapy, including somatic, polyvagal, and more. Art activates parts of the brain that do not always activate when we're using words and formulations to describe things. Helps us have a fuller experience and contain the same experiences in a richer way. Apart from that, it is something that helps us be more grounded and connected with something. And when we're more grounded and connected, our cognition also works better. We all know stress and anxiety fragment our cognitive resources, our cognitive ability, and being in touch with sensations, being connected with our senses, with aesthetics, with art is something that can move us towards. When we grasp the same experiences using art, emotions in more embodied ways, it helps us also notice things that we wouldn't otherwise notice and rather be more connected with the process of things. Now, some people might ask, like, what solution does it provide? What's the result that it gives or anything? It is important to keep in mind, your mind works the best way when it's connected, when it's grounded, and art therapy can provide that. Now, you might be wondering what happens in the sessions when we're talking about art therapy, and we will attend to that. The process is not very defined and it's not always focused on making it art therapy, but I can tell you what I do. A lot of the time, I see the clients doing something with their body, fidgeting, exploding, doing something. And I gently invite the clients into completing the story with their body, with what their creativity is saying to them. We all have creativity. It just has to show itself somewhere to really process the experiences. I pay attention to what's already happening. If we're doing something with your hands, then I invite you to complete it and show me where it is going. Where is your body taking you? If someone's using a metaphor, I ask them to lean into it. Tell me, what is it? Complete the picture for me. And that helps process the experiences. If an image comes up, I ask clients to go into the image, look at it from different distances. I ask them to complete the story. When an energy comes up, when an image comes up, when a story comes up, it's not random. we lean into it and we try and use it to process the experiences that we're already having. That is expression. That is wisdom trying to surface itself. Sometimes I say, it looks like your body wants to tell a story. Let's be here with it. Let's give it the space to exist. Now, that can also happen in the context of talk therapy. It doesn't have to be art therapy. And it is something that can help us actually be more productive, be more present, be more grounded. There are no special skills required for this. Everyone has creativity, and we all use our creativity as a force in different ways. It might show itself in art, but it also shows itself in different ways, such as the ways we make stories about ourselves, the ways we approach life day by day, also the problems we create for ourselves, and everything else. That's why it's important to be in touch with that force and understand it, look at it from different angles. And that's what we do in sessions. We try and make it into a resource as opposed to a source of chaos or destruction. We try and be there with it and tune it in the best possible way for ourselves. Now, you might ask, do we need to be creative, or do we need to have an artistic experience or skill if we want to take advantage of art therapy? No, you really don't. We all have creativity. We all have it in different ways. It doesn't only show itself in the art practices that we do. It shows itself in the patterns that we repeat, in the ways we navigate relationships, we navigate experiences, how we problem solve, how we create problems, and all of that. As such, creativity is a force that already exists within you. It shows itself in different ways. Now, art therapy can help us to be in touch with this force and look at it from different angles and navigate our relationship with it. It doesn't become a source of destruction and problems. It becomes more of a resource for us that takes us towards positive experiences. The subtext is that I work with mainly ADHD and cultural and collective trauma, but there's more to it. Shortly, I work with pretty much anyone from all walks of life. But here are some common things that I see, some overlapping themes, is that people often come into therapy room partially because they're told that they're too intense or too sensitive, too insensitive, too chaotic, too organized, too much this and that. And as a result, they've lost the trust in the way they do their own things, in the resources that they have. As a result, people start to distance from their own internal experiences and resources. In my approach, I highly believe in reconnecting people with their internal resources and experiences so that they can be themselves and get things done the best way that they can. Creative and artistic approaches are not based on intuition. They do have a scientific base and they do have empirical support. Now, we know that trauma doesn't always and necessarily store itself in our brain and in our cognitive memory, but it does also storage itself into our sensory and physical memory. In creative and expressive approaches, we get to activate parts of our brain and parts of our being that are not necessarily activated when we're doing something more cognitive and directive. As such, it can really take us some extra length in addressing trauma and traumatic experiences. Brain research shows that drawing, movement, expression activate parts of brain that cognition and verbal communication do not activate. Parts of the brain that address physiological balancing, memory processing, and emotional processing as well. And when we activate these parts of the brain, we have a better chance of activating and working with trauma. There is empirical support for creative and expressive approaches, decreasing symptomology of anxiety, depression, and stress, and also that it improves emotional processing and psychological flexibility. The mechanism is fairly simple. When we combine cognitive and experiential approaches, the change becomes deeper and more evolved. We're living in very tense and stressful times when we look at the world scene and also the individual lives of people. And I think these are the times when we need art, creativity, and creative therapies more than ever. In this fast-paced and crazy world, there's an urge to jump to conclusions, make reactions, fix things right away, and all of that. And true, it is important, but it also matters that we make good decisions and we slow things down for ourselves and make better reactions. Uh, and in general, art and creativity provides a space for us to slow things down and look at things more deeply and process them internally. So we also make better decisions. So we're also more attuned, we're also more grounded, and cultivate better relationships with those around us. I have one office space here in downtown, as you see, and also one in Richmond Hill. I make bookings through my website and through email. I'm also on Psychology Today. I also provide virtual therapy, and that's also okay. My service is also covered by insurance in case you have an insurance coverage that does provide for psychotherapy.